Hi everyone. We're going to make Napoleon. So I have some puff pastry here. Puff pastry is also referred to as mille-feuille. Mille-feuille. I have already started the process. A Napoleon is a dessert that's comprised of 3 layers of puff pastry or mille-feuille. With 2 layers of pastry cream. You might see fruit inside and a beautiful glaze on top, a fondant glaze, both white and chocolate, and it's a very attractive dessert. Anyway, I've already cut it down. I used a little flour and I have it probably less than 1/8 of an inch in thickness, so really thin. Here's my scraps, and you can see that I kind of gently just folded one piece over the next. Do not ball up your scraps. So I'm going to put this onto a sheet pan, and it is lined with a non-stick sheet. You could also just simply use a piece of parchment paper. And now I'm going to dock it. I'm going to use a fork, and this is going to be a quick process. You could use a docker, but you really want to be certain that you dock this well, because we do not want it to blister up. So do this. And I'm going to cut this dough later after it's baked into nice little rectangular shapes. I'm going to do individual portions. I'm going to sprinkle a tad bit of sugar, not too much, just a tad bit of sugar on top. And now I have a piece of parchment paper to cover this. And I'm going to put one more sheet pan on top. So I want to weigh down this puff pastry. And I have a feeling that this is not going to be too much. So now I'm going to top it off with some additional weight. And I'm going to use a brick. I covered it. And it's going to go into an oven about 400 degrees. Keep in mind, puff pastry likes high heat. I'll do that for about 15 minutes. I'll take it out of the oven, remove all of this stuff so that it can continue to brown. So by the time I take it out, it will unlikely be able to rise after that first baking. So I've taken off the sheet pan and the brick and parchment paper. So it's rather blonde. I'm going to let it get some browning. It is brown underneath, and I will flip it over one more time to be certain that there's even browning on both sides, and that of course all these layers are fully baked. Hello everyone, this is going to be the Napoleon Assembly, and I have pastry cream. I'm going to do 1 serving, so I have my puff pastry that's already been sliced into 3 pieces, and this was my scrap. And so I crumbled it up, and it makes for a nice coating on top of alongside of a cake. And I can show you another way to present your Napoleon using the shavings of your puff pastry. I have not my pastry cream, but my fondant topping inside of here. I just made a little small cornet since I'm only doing 1. So powdered sugar and a tad bit of milk, a little bit of vanilla extract for flavoring. And here I have some chocolate that's melted. I could just as well have done a chocolate sort of fondant, but I just chose to use straight chocolate, and it's inside of my cornet or my piping bag. And I also have some fresh raspberries that I'm going to put in between. So first thing I'm going to do is take care of the top. So I'm going to cut this open, and I'm going to first pipe around. I'm just going to fill it in. Shouldn't be too thick, but you definitely want to make sure that it's completely covered. So I'm not adding any more, I'm just filling in with the tip of my cornet. And I love cornets, they're just so functional for so many reasons. And a little bit came out there on the edge, and I can still see it, and I don't want to see it. I can still see the pastry through, so I'm just adding a little tiny bit more. This will eventually set, but it's kind of nice when it's just slightly soft when you cut into it. And if you have any crumbs, you could use a toothpick to remove it. So now for the design, I just have that. I want to get out of the way, get away, go away. Alrighty, so now I will apply my chocolate. I want to make sure that my hands are dry before I pick up the cornet. So here's my cornet. It's closed, or a little tiny opening there, and I don't want too large of an opening. Usually I will apply it to something like this piece of parchment paper to see that it's coming out smoothly. And it is, so I'm going to, which direction do I want to go in? That one. I can go that way, or I can go that way. How about I go lengthwise? I'll do 3. And then, before that has an opportunity to set, take your toothpick and go in one direction. And now you'll go in the opposite direction. So turn it around so you don't get confused, or maybe so I don't get confused. And then there you have your top. I could have taken this a little bit closer to the edge. I didn't. So now I don't want to maybe pick this up. No, I will. So now I'm ready for my assembly. This one side of the pastry got a little dark, a little darker than I wished. And I'm going to put some raspberries in between and make it nice and decadent. And I'm just going to just top these off with a little bit of pastry cream, just so that the top has something to adhere to. So I'll do that, and I'll do the same thing again. Raspberries. Do you have to have raspberries? No, you can do just pastry cream. You could maybe select another berry. It would be up to you. And now, again, just a little pastry cream so that it does not soggy up. Oh, that one doesn't appear to be good. My raspberries are on their way out. All right, and then let's put the top on. And I could stop and finish right there, okay? Or I could also spread some pastry cream around the sides and then cover my sides if I weren't happy with that look. So I'll show you doing that with one side. I'll just pipe some on and then I'll spread it around. Take your spatula and just carefully clean your spatula as you are doing this. And now for the piece de resistance, I will add the remainder. Remember, we don't want to throw away anything unless it's, you know, severely burned or something like that. That would be, you know, be a little bit different, but a lot of butter in here, yes? So you could carefully lift it and then cover the sides. So now you would have another look to it. All right, I'll place it on a plate so that you could see. And just so it doesn't slide around on the plate, you will want to put a dab of your pastry cream, and now your product will be set in place and it won't move around. So I put a little dollop of pastry cream down, right? Take a clean towel and remove all the crumbs off of your plate. And let's see if I can take this off and show you a better view. Oh, you want to see me? So here's one look that you could have, and you could see all those layers, yes? Oh my gosh, yay. Or I could have put a little bit more cream, you know, right inside of there for, you know, finished look. Of course, you would do maybe at least 2 sides, or you can do all 4 sides, all right? So that is Napoleon. I like that side. Alrighty.